Hi, welcome to Traveling with John, where I bring you information about travels that I take here and abroad. Today, I got a question for you. What kind of cruiser are you? There's so many different types. They have the people that love to just take short getaways, um, and then there's folks that usually take 5 days to a week. And then there's the folks that takes 2 week cruises and longer, even a year if you're doing the world cruise. So let's talk about a few different cruises. Um, have you been to Hawaii? Have you been to Hawaii on a cruise? Um, I work for an airline, and when I started with this company, I used to work on the Honolulu Hawaii flight, and because I worked for an airline, I was able to travel to Hawaii for free, where I would jump seat. So jump seat means that you are part of the flight crew. There's the pilot, the co-pilot, the engineer, and then you would be like that other party that rides with the crew. You're supposed to know basic knowledge, and with the airline company, you test to make sure you're qualified to jump seat. So, with that being said, I worked on the Hawaii flight, and because of my schedule at the time when I first started with this company over 25 years ago, I was able to go to Hawaii probably like 2 or 3 times a week. So I got burned out. So when I finally got married, and many years later, um, I, was approached about cruising to Hawaii. Now, I've never cruised to Hawaii, um, but it was a great experience. And the key point to take is it's going to be a long cruise. It's usually a lot of sea days. So most of the trips are 14 days or longer because it takes a few days to cross from California or the northern states to get to Hawaii. And in the beginning, it's a little rough because you are crossing the ocean, and so there is some waves, but most of these ships are so huge that they can pretty much handle them pretty easily, and so there's very little worry about seasickness and whatnot. But a lot of people that take these cruises or cruises in general have aids to assist with the preventing seasickness. Um, C bands. C band is like a band, like kind of like this, and it has a little nub on there that presses on your pressure point, and it's supposed to, remove that feeling of seasickness. Um, there's seasick pills, Dramamine, and what you would find on a ship that helps, that I learned recently, is green apples. Now, I've never been seasick. I'm very fortunate, and I've had some rough weather cruises, but my wife, she gets seasick, and she's been doing good with the sea bands and the other aids. But the green apple, when she learned about that recently, she found that really helps. And this was a tip from crew members on the actual ship. So anyway, the Hawaii cruise, beautiful, great weather, and you're hopping to different islands. And what's great about cruising to Hawaii is um, you have excursions that they offer on the ship, but I would advise you, because you're in the United States technically, I would advise you to skip booking an excursion on the ship. I usually don't say this because when you go to different foreign lands and you exploring your own, you're at risk of so many. You're just at risk of being in the hands of somebody else, and most of the times the trips are you have to travel an hour or two to get to the actual destination of your excursion. But with Hawaii, it's different. It's different because, like I said, it's the United States. It's the United State. It's one of our states. So what I do and what I would recommend is rent a car. Rent a car. Do your own thing. We have so many people that are tech savvy. You can research like where you would like to eat on Yelp. You can look into Yelp reviews for that particular island that you're going to and try some of them spots. What I did is, I went on to Costco Travel. A lot of people have Costco, but you can rent a car from anywhere. Through any method that you normally use to rent your car. And because it's United States, it's not an issue about the lanes, what side of the road to drive on, insurance and all that. You're supposed to have insurance anyway. You're gonna have to get it to rent a car. But anyway, we rented a car from Costco for each island that we went to, and we did our own thing. It was great. It was so great because we were able to stop where we wanted to, like different beaches, some of the lesser known beaches, but they're all beautiful in Hawaii. So you can get out, get in the water, enjoy yourself. They have plenty of places you can eat along the way on different islands, and pick up food or stop at a store and get your supplies. And because the ships are usually at these islands anywhere from 10 to 24 hours in some cases, you can rent this car and move at your own pace and not spend a lot of money. You're not giving money to the cruise ship for an excursion. Now, if you want to do the luau, if you want to see Pearl Harbor or, any of the historical sites, you can buy these tickets on your own through that actual location that you want to visit online. Have your tickets, print them up at home, bring them with you, and when you get your car, you can go there. And you're not on a bus with a bunch of folks. You're with your significant other, your own immediate family. You're having a good time. You're enjoying the weather, and it's like a short family trip on a tropical island. It's great. It's great. So I would recommend you renting your own car. Usually, it's quite simple. When you get to your destination and on one of the Hawaiian islands, get Uber. Take Uber or a cab, but it's usually I take Uber. So we take Uber, spend about $10 each way, to pick up the car and drop the car, get the car us back to the ship. But you save so much money. You get to move the way you want to move, eat where you want to eat, see what you want to see. That's my biggest tip for that one. Another type of cruise is the Panama Canal. It's one of my favorites. I love it because it's it's a national, it's a world landmark. It was man made. Um, and this cruise is another typical long cruise. It's usually 14 days. And depending on if you're going to take the partial, where you only go through, um, the locks, partial locks, or you take the entire whole cruise where you're going through all the locks. Now, I've done, both. So, but it's a great cruise because you tend to have a more mature crowd. It still can be fun depending on which cruise line you're on, but it's a lot of activities. But there's less of the hard partiers. I like to party. I party. I have a good time, but it's just not you know overrun with a ton of kids because a lot of the kids are they can't, the younger kids, the large families, they can't you know take that much time off. So but it's beautiful. You get to hit Costa Rica most of the time, Colombia, and contrary to belief, you can have a safe excursion in Colombia. We stopped in Cartagena, and we were just because we heard so much, we were kind of leery, but we didn't really do too much, but we felt good. We felt good. We felt safe. Let's just say that. Let's talk about transatlantic. Are you a transatlantic cruiser? Now, I haven't done this, and the reason why I haven't done this is because of the climate with COVID going on. So, and usually transatlantic cruises are, one way. You're either cruising from New York to across the pond, like Europe or whatever, or you're coming back from Europe back to New York. And so you're going to either, because I stay in Northern California, we would have to fly to New York and then, meet the ship in New York and then cruise. And if you have a lot of time, like, more than 2 weeks, you can do it. But it's a lot of travel. It's a lot of travel because you have to, in my situation, you have to travel from, California to New York, and then you're crossing the Atlantic, and then once you get to your destination, several days later, it's a lot of sea days. You're pretty much having to fly back on your own, or paying for another transatlantic to come back. But a lot of people tend to, since they're already over on that side, they make the most of it. They hit all the countries that you can hit, all the sites that you want to take, because they have, a great subway and train, and flights are usually cheaper once you're there. So, if that's something that you have done, put it in the comments. Let me know what you thought of that. Let's talk about another place that I like to cruise to and actually fly to, and it's a U.S. territory. Puerto Rico. We love Puerto Rico. We love Puerto Rico. We've cruised out of Puerto Rico, meaning that, we've flown from here to Puerto Rico, and then took a cruise from there. 7, 11 days. We've been there quite a few times. But what we typically do, and I would advise this for anyone, spend time in Puerto Rico. There's so much to do. There's so many activities and shopping and oh my, and food and partying and historical that you can do. Usually we would either stay a few days before the trip if we were cruising, and then stay probably a few days after the trip, just because it's such a beautiful, beautiful place, and the weather is always great. Even if you have rain, it's warm rain. It feels good. It doesn't last for long. Then the sun comes back out, and then it's hot. So I would recommend cruising out of Puerto Rico to Puerto Rico, staying in Puerto Rico, even if do it on your own. A lot of the airlines fly to Puerto Rico, and there's a lot of Airbnbs, Verbos, where we tend to stay. The times we went to Puerto Rico, which is probably how many times? Probably about three, 4 times, and we got another trip coming up around this time next year in March. So we're gonna be there for at least 10 days. So we're really gonna do it big, and we're just gonna fly in and stay. So we are really looking forward to this trip, because we love to support the economy, and like I said, it's so many great beaches, it's so many great places to eat, and so we usually, like I said, stay at a hotel in this situation. Last few times we stayed at the Hyatt House. Beautiful rooms, spacious. Just so close to the beach and Old San Juan and all the tourist attractions. This time we're staying at the Hyatt Place, which the last time we were there, it was almost completed. It's completed now because it's been at least 3-4 years since we've been to Puerto Rico. So we're looking forward to staying at the Hyatt Place, because this is actually, I want to say, across the street from the Hyatt House. It's that close. So yeah, there's so many different options. But what kind of cruiser are you, and what trips would you take? What sounds fun to you? There's so much. Just get out and travel and enjoy it. Even though this is like a difficult time, you gotta live. You cannot be sheltered in your bubble. You need to live, explore life, do things that you used to enjoy doing before we've, hit this pandemic. So remember to like, subscribe, share. Thank you for taking this time out. And you can leave your comments and let me know what you think. And until next time, see you later. Happy cruising. Happy traveling.